team defensively is to be much more consistent. They have good pieces in place, right? But they want to be more consistent about how they do things. Foote was a linebacker back in the day for the Pittsburgh Steelers and said they were an elite defense. They were a top 5 defense, and that is the goal of this Buccaneers team.
It is about 40 seconds, actually 35 seconds. That's the amount of time that was on the clock when the Rams took the snap and Matthew Stafford completed the 44-yard pass to Cooper Kupp, which set up the game-winning field goal for LA in the divisional round. He said that sequence is burned into the psyches of everybody in that building. So the whole offseason and next regular season is going to be spent trying to rectify those few seconds, which cost them a chance to repeat as Super Bowl champions.
We have heard from Todd Bowles. He has made this no secret. They want to be younger and faster, especially when it comes to on the defensive side, on that interior line. They have Vita Vea. He's the last significant defensive lineman that they drafted. That was back in 2018. JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul, is unsigned. So is Ndamukong Suh. Both of those guys, Suh 35, JPP 33. So this was a defensive line that a year ago, while they had success, they are an aging defensive line. They want to get younger and faster there. We have heard Jason Light say that. We've heard Todd Bowles say it. We heard Bruce Arians talk about that at the Combine. So we know that that is a priority for them.
Good evening, Bucs fans. Welcome to the Real Bucs Talk podcast. I'm your host, Michael Plus. Joined as always, my co-host, Mark Ramirez. And as you saw in that video there, obviously that's going to go into what we're going to talk about tonight, which is this team's draft needs and, how are they positioned coming up for this 2022 NFL draft? And rightfully so. I mean, we've been talking about it for months here. They need some pass rush. We got to get that consistent pass rush up front. So, Mark, your thoughts on that, that video, and obviously, how are you doing tonight?
We're doing awesome. We get to talk Buccaneer football. That's the best thing I want to talk about all year round. But about the video that we just showed in the intro, yeah, the last 35 seconds, the last 40 seconds, what did they do on that last play? They sent an all-out blitz. Because why? They can't generate pressure with front four. They said, you know what? No risk it, no biscuit. Let's send the whole damn house. And they left the one guy they shouldn't have left uncovered. And look what happened. So I think genuinely that they're trying to improve that pass rush. You've heard it from Jason Light, like you heard in the video. BA before he stepped down. Todd Bowles. They're all saying they want to get younger and faster on the defensive line. They say it's interior. It could be interior. It could be outside. Either way, you're trying to generate pass rush. You stop trying to pigeonhole Devin White flying in all the time. Levante David, Jordan Whitehead, who it was in the past, which let's see who fills in now. Could be Keanu Neal, new signing. Bring his name up quickly. But you got to find a way where your front four can do it. It can't be consistently throwing blitz after blitz after blitz, expecting guys behind you to grab on everyone and come up man on man every damn time. So this is something that we're going to talk about in the show, and we'll get down to some of the fans, what they want. It's kind of ridiculous when you know what the glaring need truly is. So how do you feel about that?
No, I completely agree. I mean, you look at, the offense pretty much is set in our eyes, and you look at the defense, it definitely needs some reinforcements up front. Obviously with, Vita Vea and Shaq Barrett and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka as your top three guys that are going to be the workhorses going into the future. And obviously they're locked up long-term. You need to continue to add pieces around them to make them better. And, you look at the depth edge, you have Shaq Barrett, obviously a very solid player. Then JTS hopefully takes that step in year two and becomes, a guy they can depend on to be that speed rush on the outside or inside. And then you have Anthony Nelson, who had a pretty good solid year last year. Power rusher, not really athletic type. You have Cam Gill, who, shown some flashes as being the speed rusher. And then interior, I mean, you have Will Golston, who had, again, another good year, not really known as a pass rusher. And then you look at the rest, Nunez Roches, again, not really a strong pass rusher. But after that, as you see the depth chart, there's not much there. So obviously, they need to add pieces to that group and get younger, faster, stronger on that side of the ball.
Yeah, this is something we're really wanting to hit home to y'all about. This is what we're thinking. I don't know what y'all are thinking. Let us know in the comment section down below. But check it out. You got your Antoine Winfield Jr., who's your mainstay. You have your starting three in Carlton Davis, who just re-signed back. Dean, SMB. These guys are coming up on contracts, yes. So cornerback could be an area, but your starting two safeties are probably Antoine Winfield and Mike Edwards. I know they have this kind of messed up over here, but you just signed Logan Ryan and Keanu Neal. You have 4 legit safeties yet again. That gives you even more ammo to help solidify this defensive line, help get that pass rush, whether it is an interior guy like, say, a Devontae Wyatt, or an outside edge rusher like Boye Mafe or Ebikadi, like some guys that we're really high on. And then we're going to talk about more. Like some people say, that's not a fit. That's not a fit. You're going to look at who these guys are. JTS and Shaq Barrett look nothing alike. So
Yeah.
just 2 cents on that. But we'll talk more on it. The way they're setting up, to me, it seems perfectly set up for a defensive lineman, edge rusher, somewhere along that line, because everywhere else behind that line, you look pretty solid all the way through. But I guess proceed and add on to that.
Right. I agree. And you look at, the types that they have in place. Obviously, they need to continue to add, speed, obviously, in the interior. I think that's where they want it. They want to get faster rush up the middle, because if you get rush up the middle, what does that do? That helps your outside rushers get more sacks, get more pressures, create turnovers. That's what, the Bucs are looking for. Obviously, and Ndamukong Suh is still a possibility. I think they'll probably wait till after the draft, see what happens, see what takes place, and see if they can, pick him up. G Vegas points out about, Kevin Minter as far as linebacker. Are they comfortable with KJ Britt as, the number 3 linebacker? Again, a big physical guy, more of a downhill thumper, not super athletic. Do they look in the draft somewhere? Maybe, maybe on day 2, they look at a linebacker that has more athletic ability and can do things like a Devin White or Levante David in case they, get injured. So that remains to be seen. But mainly our focus and I believe this coincides with the Bucs focus, and that is getting faster up front and finding ways to get after the quarterback, because when you look at the 2020 season and how they won the Super Bowl, that was it. They pretty much won with front 4 and got home. The secondary was able to play cover 2 high and really just play a simple defense, and it worked. Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, so let me touch on more what G Vegas said about Minter not being resigned. I think KJ Britt showed plenty enough in his rookie season.
Did
Not
well.
just special teams, but when he had time to play, yeah, he's not a sideline to sideline guy like Devin White. Not many are. You're not going to get that many later in the draft either. This guy is a tough, hard-nosed football player, knows where to be. He just can't fully get to the spots Devin White can. Not many can, like I mentioned. So I think he's more than okay to be a third linebacker in this defense. Then you got Grant Stewart, another bat out of hell special teamer who, again, let's see, a year more under learning under coaches, NFL coaching, eating regimen, everything. Like, how much more do these guys take a step forward? Like,
Right.
again, a lot of people are hoping JTS takes over and just dominates. It's a lot to put on his shoulders considering year 2, and JPP is not signed. Neither is Sue right now. So
Yeah.
how many shoes is he going to have to fill? That's the scary thing. And you would want more manpower to help out. Given that Sue, I mean, you saw Todd Bowles talk about it. He's like, oh, we don't even have enough money to bring back Sue. At least you heard him mention his name.
Yeah.
JPP hasn't gotten his name mentioned at all, it seems
Right.
like. So
Yeah.
I think they're kind of leaning towards one way or another.
Well, I think the thing with JPP is I don't think he could pass his physical right now. His problem is he's recovering from a significant surgery. He had surgery on his shoulder, and that's a good 6-month recovery. So he probably won't even be ready, till the start of the season. So I think that's what could be his holdup. That's a serious injury that took place with him. So I think that's why he's not really seeing a lot of offers or, making team visits. I know he had interest from the Cowboys at one point, but, it seems like he could be a late addition to, some team out there. I'm not sure it's going to be the Buccaneers.
I agree. I think we both kind of saw that in tape. Like, he just didn't have the same get off, didn't have the same effort. He was kind of getting pushed all around. Injuries do that to you. I mean, he's on the wrong side of 30. He doesn't have all the fingers. We all know that's an ongoing joke, but when he was on, he was freaking on. He knew how to flip that switch, but I just think Father Time's kind of gotten to him in all those injuries. And that's not a knock on the player. It's just they all have a time where it's like they talk about the cliff with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
It happens to every player, but Tom's just not showing that. Maybe he shows it this year. I hope not.
Right.
it just looked like that with JPP.
Mm-hmm.
We got Alec in the chat. There we go.
Yeah, what's up, man?
I haven't seen you guys in a decade. Feels like it. Miss you guys. Yes, miss you too. And it's awesome. You got football to talk about. Todd Bowles as your head coach. Players reporting to the facility. Awesome. And it's a good time to talk football. Draft corner. Freaking amazing.
Absolutely. It's my favorite time of the year because you just had the Masters, which was on this weekend, which was outstanding. And then you have baseball back and draft season. So we're doing our final evaluations. But again, the evaluations are going to continue after the draft this year, guys. So we're very excited to continue to put out those draft profiles as you see on our channel. Be sure to check that out. We have, I think, over 25 players up there on the channel. So more to come. We got Lewis Seen coming out tomorrow. So very excited about that one. The safety out of Georgia could be a potential first-round pick for the Buccaneers. Again, still not out of play, even with the addition of Keanu Neal and Logan Ryan, just because, like we said earlier, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Jamel Dean, Mike Edwards, all due for contracts. Even Logan Ryan, Keanu Neal, they're all free agents next year. So, those are no guarantee to have those guys back. And we'll dive into some of the corners. We're going to get into that as the weeks go on. So it should be a lot of fun. We're very excited about it. It's going to be, pretty cool to discuss and dive in. If you're just joining us, again, we're live here on Real Bucs Talk on YouTube, Bucs Report. Check us out there. And we were just discussing the team needs. What do you guys feel the team needs are for this team going forward? And really, we look at it, and it's defensive line is the front priority, especially interior and edge rush. And I think all can agree if Devontae Wyatt is there, that's the dream pick. Like that's the one you got to take. That's the one you want. Mark, I think you would agree with that one.
I think it's a bonehead decision if he falls into your lap.
Yeah, by the rest of the teams, right?
Yeah, you don't even think about it. You just go. Literally, you just saw our intro. If you didn't see our intro, it was talking about how the defense wants to be more consistent. You want to see from last year, the last 35 seconds of that Rams game, they just sent it out an all-out blitz because they couldn't get pressure with 4. And what are they looking at? Team needs BA, Bowles, and Light all said interior pass rush, be faster, younger, something along the lines of that. Just pass rush in general. You would think of a guy like Devontae Wyatt, who's a quicker interior edge rusher, or interior rusher next to Vita Vea, that'd be insane. Like for years, Gerald McCoy never got any help. Yeah. If you can give Vita Vea some running mate right next to him, like a Devontae Wyatt, that'd be insane. To go along with JTS with his second year, to go along with Shaq Barrett, who, I mean, yes, he's more of a technician. He's not a true edge rusher. That's why I want a true edge rusher. I think I make it apparent in every live stream. But I mean, just think of it. That's a whole front 4 that you have to account for. It's not just Vita Vea getting doubled. If you have to single a Devontae Wyatt who can beat one-on-ones, which he showed consistently at Georgia, look the hell out. So the NFL would make a big mistake if they let him fall to us, which I don't think he will. But if he does, run up to the podium.
Yeah. Yeah, and some good comments here in the chat. Alec talking about O-line in the first round, edge in round 2. Yeah, I mean, we'll go. Let's go down the line here, Mark. I don't know if you have the that depth chart still pulled up. If we can share that.
I got a lot of things pulled up over here.
Let's go position by position. We can go all the way to the top there. Or actually, we'll start at quarterback. They kind of have it reversed here, but quarterback. Obviously, I don't see us picking a quarterback in round 1. I think we agree with that. Tom Brady is your guy, and no matter what happens, if some reason he gets hurt, our season is pretty much done at that point. Let's just be honest. Running back, you brought back Leonard Fournette. They have talked to a lot of running backs in this draft process. So maybe running back is an option on day 2 or day 3. It could be, there. But again, it's not going to be a round 1 option. You look at tight end, that could be an option. Obviously, day 2, day 3 probably, but not in round 1. Because again, it's bare. You only have Cameron Brate and Cody McElroy right now. We don't know what's going to happen with Gronk. So,
Plus, come on now, he's coming back.
Yeah. I feel he'll come back again. He'll probably be a late, signing after the draft. He just wants to get OTA skipped and, be ready for training camp. Again, he's doing his tour. He's got that big draft party coming up. He's going to be hyped. So yeah, he's just living his life. Messing with Tom a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And then, and here's my big bugaboo. all draft. And let's just get into it now.
Please.
Because people talking about receiver round 1. I'm sorry. You guys have just lost your mind. Like, you really have lost your mind. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't receiver in round 1. It's mind-boggling that you guys want receiver in round 1.
Okay.
Like, you look at go back to the depth chart. Go back to the depth chart. You look at receivers. Okay, you got Mike Evans, obviously receiver number 1. Chris Godwin's a 1 as well. So it's a luxury right there. You have those 2 guys. And yes, injuries happen. We can't stop injuries from happening. But those guys are paid $20 million a year right there, or at least, over 16 million. So that's 36 million right there. Add in Russell Gage, that's another 10. So you got 46 million and 3 players right there. So you're telling me you want to draft another receiver in round 1 to put at receiver number 4 when you have guys like
good option
Cyril Grayson, who's developing, showed out last year.
Yeah, check your sheet.
Yeah, check your sheet, guys. You have Bernard Perriman, who's also, again, another solid guy. Yeah, exactly. And Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson, who yet have not developed fully yet. So let's develop those guys and see what they can do. So I don't get it. And Chris Godwin not being ready, he's going to be ready, guys. Again, ACL is not injuries like it was in the past. So
I'm going to add this to what Plus is saying. Yes, the money factor. Yes. Those are saying, oh, what if last year happens? I'm going to add this. Chris Godwin, yes, got hurt, sucked. Who the hell can account for Antonio Brown walking his happy ass off the damn field? No one could have seen that happening. If AB is on the field against the Rams, we win. Plain and simple. If he doesn't lose his damn mind, we win that game. He is that damn good of a player. Russell Gage is, to me, a cleaner, more up-and-coming AB. Is he going to be what AB is? Most likely not. But he can fit the role of what AB could do in this offense. I'm not saying anywhere near, he's going to be type of potentially Hall of Fame player that AB essentially was. No, but in this offense, that he can play any freaking role anywhere on the field.
Yeah,
you have 3 guys that can do that. And then, like, you added to your. Let's go back to this. Let's go back. You have those 3, around $46 million you just mentioned, and then you got Rashard Perriman you just signed back. Jalen Darden you just traded up for.
Right, I forgot Jalen Darden.
In Scotty Miller, who just is begging to play with Tom Brady, who is a baller once given playing time. I don't know what friggin' doghouse he's in. Cyril Grayson, who can ball out when giving opportunity. If his hamstring doesn't give out, what the hell is he? So you can't expect a team to draft a 4th number 1 wide receiver, because that's potentially what you're saying he is. If you're drafting a receiver first round, he deserves some playing time to start.
Yeah, you expect him to be a top, top receiver. And
where the hell's the space?
Yeah. And then also with the receiver position, okay, if you select a receiver day 2, I get it, understand, because receiver is a position where it's pretty deep. It's always deep in the draft. It's where you can find guys. Hell, we found Chris Godwin in the 3rd round. So, you can find guys later. My biggest thing is just taking one in round 1. Like, it just doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense. It's just illogical. There's only so many resources you can put at a position, and receiver already has a ton of resources at it. Like, I mean, it would be mind-boggling that they would do it. I could see it maybe if they really love a receiver and they trade back, like trade out of the first round, maybe they take a receiver, but just doesn't make sense at 27.
Yeah.
And really, it doesn't make sense in the top 3 rounds. I'll say that. Like, I would wait till day 3 if you really want a receiver.
I mean, I agree with you, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did a second or third. No, a third rounder at the earliest. Because tall Florida guy says, I'm just saying, guys, don't be surprised if they draft one early. If they draft one first round, I'll lose my damn mind.
Yeah.
I'll make, what the hell are you thinking? So I honestly, I'm so convinced they won't. And just that Twitter mania fans just don't really logically think. They just see one outlet and they're like, oh, good. That's where we're going. They don't think for themselves. Sadly, guys, I just got to say it. Like, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I got to say it. I mean, you got so much talent. Guys you've seen Brady throw with that works well. Run with it. Give them playing time. Give them opportunities and see where they go. Look what Cyril Grayson did with one opportunity.
Right. And Julio Jones, that's an instant no. Like, they're not going to sign him either. Makes no sense. I don't care if Tom Brady DM'd him. It's not going to happen. I mean, no. I could see.
I'm not going to say no on that one.
Well, I mean, only way Julio Jones happens if there's like an early season injury, it'd be like the Richard Sherman signing. That's the only way I see it. I don't see it happening before training camp. So no.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hope we kind of convinced y'all a little bit on why you don't draft wide receiver round 1. It doesn't matter if the whole all 3 of them get hurt.
Yeah.
You can't plan on that. And if you do, it is a next man up. You can't predict your 4th receiver will end up being your number 1 receiver. That's the game of football. You can't put so much investment into one area and just shit on the rest of the team. You just can't. So it's not like there's going to be a Pro Bowl player at every damn position, even your backups. It's not possible. This isn't Madden. And that's somewhere where I know we say that the cap is fake or you can just fit it in. No, not.
Yeah.
It's not logical when there's other players that you truly need and you're setting up for. It looks like you're setting up for.
Right.
I guess that kind of brings us to our transition. Or do you want to talk anything else on wide receivers?
I mean, we can go into offensive line, and really, this is the only position I could see us drafting first round. Just because left guard, there's 2 options. There's Zion Johnson, who we just did a film study on. Go check that out. And then there's also Kenyon Green out of Texas A&M, who I feel are very, very good run blockers. Pass protection, they need some work at. But again, they're decent enough where they could come in, they could start right away. And obviously, if you're drafting them at 27, you expect them to play some type of significant snaps or start. And obviously, they have a great opportunity, starting there. The only reason I hope they don't go that direction is, like we said, you need to put your resources at a different position, which is on the defensive line, edge rushers. Now, again, you got to play the board, but that's really the only position I could see them going offensively in round 1.
I agree. I wouldn't want to. Again, I mean, because I guess one point someone said Aaron Stinnie has only had 1 start. That start was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Did pretty good. I mean, Tom Brady, yes, you want to protect the interior because he's not going to really move around the pocket. So you want him to be able to step up. But, I mean, the ball's out so fast with him. And he has all these glutton of weapons to throw to. How much does he truly need? Like, his head will make the decision for him. With everything he has, he can just pick out the easy matchup and attack it. And someone was saying, I think it was tall Florida guy. Someone said it earlier, like, look at the Saints game. That's what happened. That was not based off of weapons. That was based off of play call and execution. There's a big difference. I mean, we got slaughtered for a damn reason. People were not playing to what they should. I mean, there's no way in hell this Bucs offense should ever get shut out.
Yep.
Flat out. You have Tom Brady at quarterback and you have all these damn weapons. I don't care if Godwin got hurt or anything. That should never happen. And they should come out with a vengeance and pissed off with Brady's 3rd year into the system and just freaking knock everyone the hell out. That's how I view it. And Offense is all intact besides getting a left guard if they need one. But I honestly don't think the need is as high as media calls it out to be.
Right. And that,
they did.
yeah, and that goes into my point at receiver as well. It's like you've put a lot of investment at that position with draft picks over the last couple of years. You need to develop those guys, let them develop. And I know it's a win now situation, but at the same time, these guys can still develop and get better within the off season and obviously going into the season. It's the same thing at left guard. Like you just drafted a guard last year in the 3rd round, Robert Hainsey, who should have a great opportunity to win this job if he is a legit, offensive lineman like you feel. And obviously you got confidence in picking him. He fits the system. He fits what you want. I don't care if you're training him to be center or guard. He can play both spots. Let's see what he has. You got this Nick Leverett guy who, you got undrafted. You have a lot of confidence in him as well. And when he has been in there, he's done a pretty decent job. Same thing with Aaron Stinney. So it's like, let's see what these guys can do and give them the opportunity to be, at least serviceable to go with your other players on your offensive line that are pretty well. I mean, they're pretty dominant. Ryan Jensen's one of the best centers in the game. And you just got Shaq Mason, who's top 5 top 5 guard. Tristan Wirfs is a great tackle, and Donovan Smith is a very solid left tackle as well. So, I mean, you don't need 5 all-stars up there at offensive line.
I made that point as well.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. You can just load up and
that's the point that we're getting to. It's like you can't just put all these resources in one spot or this spot. You got to spread the wealth around and make yourself a solid, well-rounded team. And you look at the last couple of champions, that's what they've done.
All right, this is where I agree, my man. I would go crazy if we draft a guard in the 1st round. We have a ton of options already on the roster. I agree.
Same with receiver. That's
the receiver though. That's we're trying to get off our chest, I guess. Because it just blows my mind, or it blows our mind, how we see so many fans saying, "Oh yeah, go, let's do it."
And don't get us wrong, like I love Traylon Burks. I think he's a stud. We love Chris Olave. I mean, super awesome deep threat. Garrett Wilson, I think, is one of the top receivers in this draft. I know all these guys are probably going to be gone. I don't see Traylon Burks getting past the Cowboys because Jerry Jones loves Arkansas players. He's from there. I could see them easily taking him. There's a lot of receivers though that you like or we like. I mean, that you could get on day 2, you get on day 3. So again, there's options at that position, and you need to attack the positions that are going to be picked early, and that's defensive line. It's going to be gone quick. So you gotta make the most of it in those first 2 rounds.
And so that brings us to this. Tom saying, I want defensive tackle, DB, tight end, offensive line. I can agree with that assessment there. I mean, I would almost say D tackle at the end. And I will add on to that. So let's look at our roster again. Let's come back over the depth chart. So your edge rushers. So you got Golson and Vita Vea, Nunez Roches as your starting 3 defensive tackles. That's how they kind of have it, or 3-4. So your edge rushers, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Shaq Barrett, Anthony Nelson. That's like your true edge rushers. Let's break it down. JTS, they just drafted last year. 6'5", almost 260, very lengthy, big hands. Prototypical edge rusher. So people are like, oh, some guys don't fit a certain mold of this defense. Okay, this is one of them. Your other guy you just paid an astronomical amount of money to, Shaq Barrett. Oh, he's shorter. He's 3 inches shorter. 6'2", 250. Okay, 250 is around the weight I guess they like, right? You got a 6'2", 6'5", and then, anything else, 6'7", 270. So you can't tell me, and long arms, Shaq Barrett does not have long arms, that they're pigeonholing certain players to be their edge rushers. You cannot tell me that there's a certain player that, nope, they're ruling off their board. Nope, done. Not in there. You're going to tell me based off all these 3 guys, 6'5", 6'2", 6'7", Cam DeGill, who's the other guy. But Cam Gill's the other guy. He is not a tall guy either. He's more of like a 6'2" as well, 240 to 6'2".
Yep.
Is there anything similar with all these guys? No, not a damn chance. So these outlets are telling you it doesn't fit the mold. Mark it off. Check. This is what I
Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
It's come on.
Yeah.
Where is the similarities here? They're all different. They work within a system. Yeah. You need to have a smart guy that knows how to play your system of stop the run first and then get the hell after the quarterback when we need you to.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of that, the smarts is behind you. They be able to mix in safeties at blitz, corners at blitz, and know where to function and move around to occupy space that one guy's leaving. Defensive linemen, they're just finding guys that fit holes and get after the quarterback. Don't give me no shit that doesn't fit the mold. Nope, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I selling crazy? What's going on?
no, I'm right there with you, and it's yeah. I mean, it's just they like good football players. That's what it comes down to, and it doesn't matter body type or sure they may have a maybe certain traits or athletic numbers they look for, but a lot of these guys, they have a certain thing that they do well, and that's what they're looking for. Guys that can do a certain aspect and make the team better. Get after the quarterback is definitely one of them. So if you can find guys that can win one-on-ones, sign me up for that. That's definitely what they're going to try to get, and guys that can be matchup nightmares for the offensive line.
Yeah. So, I mean, I only say that because don't get pigeonholed into thinking that someone isn't going to be drafted by the Bucs because they don't fit a certain criteria that is a Bucs edge rusher. Or he's got to be a big fat guy that can stop the run. It's not just that. I mean, Vita does enough for all these guys to benefit. I mean, he just needs a little bit of help. Okay. So I don't know where that came from, where it needs to be a certain length, a certain height. I don't know.
Yeah.
So guys, simply, I just looked at the height and weights of these guys. Nothing was the same. Nothing was similar. They're all guys that can do different things. Yes, Anthony Nelson's usually in on rundowns because he's bigger, can collect holes, but he also can be used inside. JTS can be used inside, but let's see if he gained more weight this offseason. That would be a huge help. He can play that JP role, but let's see. I was just making that sure to you. So one of these speed edge rusher guys get drafted, like, oh, he doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, Todd Bowles is going to use him to get after the quarterback. That's what we need. But let's keep going on. This is a good one. Mafe is a Buck fan favorite. So plus, talk this man up.
Yeah, Boye Mafe out of Minnesota, I think can be a better pro than he was a college athlete. At Minnesota, they used him in a lot of different alignments where he was mainly, lined up square on with the tight end or the outside tackle. I think he can, be more explosive than he showed on tape at Minnesota. He's got a lot of good measurables. Obviously, one of the top athletes coming into this draft. I think he ran under a 4.6 40. So guy's got, the size at, 6'3", over 250 pounds. Kind of fits that Shaq Barrett mold, and he can do a lot of different things. So I think he'd be pretty cool. There he is right in the middle.
Right?
Yeah, right there. So yeah, be sure to check that out on our channel. As you can see, we got a lot of draft profiles up there. But yeah, he would definitely be an option at 27. I think he'd be an excellent pick, and obviously another guy that you can use in a lot of different ways, and he can drop back into coverage. He can do all the different things that, Todd Bowles likes to do defensively, schematically. It would be a fun pick. And, the guy could be a winner at 27. And speaking of winning, if you guys watch the Masters or even the, March Madness that just passed, and obviously we got NBA playoffs coming up, be sure to help us out and support the channel. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code TPPN. And any bet of $1, I think they match up to $100 and free money. So it's a good chance to win some cash and make some easy money as the playoffs come up this weekend.
100% agree. But more on Mafe. I mean, yeah, like Plus said, go check out that breakdown. We give you a whole lot of insight into what potentially he can do. I mean, he blew up the Senior Bowl, so he's going to get eyes from that. He just can do a little bit of everything on the outside. He can give you some edge rush. He can stop the run. They didn't ask him much to drop back, but he has potential too. I mean, it's not like he's just a dead-on running forward guy. He has a little athleticism. He can run backwards as well. So if he's there at 27, I would not be mad at all. I mean,
Yeah.
that helps our want for a pass rusher, helps the edge rush needs, and you're giving another guy to think about that's not just Vita Vea.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what JTS does. You don't want to literally be the main guy.
Yeah.
Even though you have Shaq Barrett who has all this money, maybe that should be the big talk. Like maybe he needs to get a little bit more pressure based on the contract you have. I mean, are you worthy of it? I know you had your one big season. Then what the hell happened? Is it just because they're doubling you nonstop? That's to be seen. But
Yeah.
I mean,
I think, I personally feel Shaq has been fine. I think he's got enough pressures. Obviously, I think he's in the top 5 for, QB pressures and QB hits over the last couple of years. So I think he's been doing his job. Again, it's about just being consistent with the other matchups. Other matchups are getting those one-on-ones, and those guys have to win up front. But you make a good point. Again, he is the money player. He's got to make those big plays. And we've seen it last year where in most of the games, he would come up with that big forced fumble or big sack. And he has done it consistently for the most part.
And I mentioned it all last year. They asked him to drop back a lot more, which again is playing within the system.
Right.
He understands his part in the system, and he did it very well last year. He covered his gaps, which he literally did terrible his first year here. Even though he got the sack numbers, he was not filling gaps at all.
Yeah.
Like the Super Bowl year, he got better throughout the season, but he was terrible that Bears game. We lost the Bears game because of that.
Mm-hmm.
He did everything pinpoint last year. People get mad regardless, but you got to find a way to get your front forward to cause pressure. Vita Vea and Barrett were the only ones that were doing it last year. You got to find a way to improve that. Maybe JTS makes that jump, but we also need an influx of youth to help with that because there's nothing behind Vita Vea. Let's put it that way. Nothing. It's age and Nacho's pretty good, but we need more than just that. Forgive me. William Golson, he had a big year last year, but needs more pressure, a lot more pressure.
Right. And, Sue had a great year as well. But again, 35, and we don't know if he's going to be coming back. So obviously, we make it pretty obvious that's where we need to address our needs up front on that defensive line. But let's transition to, the secondary. Obviously, there's some secondary questions in here. And let's talk a little bit about the Keanu Neal addition, which was made over the last week sometime. Let's just our thoughts on that move, and what do you think?
I thought it was like a perfect little role for him. He can go back to playing safety. They put him mainly at like almost middle linebacker on the Cowboys. Right. It was kind of weird seeing him in that position when we're breaking it down, which will come later. I want to get more of his Falcons tape where he did play true safety, strong safety. But he hits like Jordan Whitehead, wants to knock the crap out of you. He plays almost like a linebacker, but I don't think they should literally just isolate him to that. Let him roam around. He has a good IQ for a football player. Let him use it. Let him find the alleyways and direct traffic. Very communication type of player, which is going to be huge in this defense. You got to be able to talk, know where you're going to fill a gap where someone's going to blitz. So I really like that pickup big time because he's a veteran, knows what to do, and he wants to win. So, and he's a Gator. That helps.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a big time move. I think he, adds more depth to that group. And like we said earlier, now you have 4, starting caliber safeties that you can count on, whether it be, obviously Antoine Winfield Jr. has more versatility now. He can play pretty much all over the place. That's how they want to use him. And then you have Mike Edwards can do the same thing. He can play more of a deep, free safety type role, which I think is his best attribute, him covering that, sideline to sideline, being the rangy guy to make those interceptions because he is ball hawk. And then you can use, Logan Ryan in the slot, to give competition for SMB and also, add more versatility that way. And then Keanu Neal can kind of do the same thing where he can be that, money backer star position where kind of plays as a linebacker, but also as a strong safety and do a lot of different things for your defense. And I think the biggest thing with those 2 additions, Logan Ryan and Keanu Neal, great tacklers. And that's something that this team, I think, needs in the secondary because at times it was a little shaky. And now you're just going to get more consistent back there and it'll help out your defense tremendously.
Tackling and just awareness and smarts back there.
Yeah,
Logan Ryan,
communication. Yeah.
very much so. Very heady player. Both of them heady players. And you said tackling. I mean, Logan Ryan may not be the biggest, but he's around the damn ball all the time. And if you got guys like Devin White, Levante David, who are already hunting for players that can punch the ball out and get there immediately. Logan Ryan slows you down at all, you're going to get nailed. I mean, they just are. Devin White's going to come flying out of nowhere. He hurts people. It doesn't matter if it's a teammate or not. He's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Usually hurts his own guys.
right? So, I mean, if you got smart guys that can play within the system, this defense can be very much consistent, very much interchangeable, which is the best part about it. All you need to do is give these guys one read and go instead of having to cover for 3, 5, 7 seconds because a pass rush isn't getting there. That's why I think, again, it's all set up to let's draft a defensive lineman, whether it is an edge or an interior defensive lineman. We just got to get an influx of talent, of speed up front.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And you know, you look at secondary as a round one option. Could it happen? Sure. I think corner could be on the board. I think safety, Lewis Seen, we talked about, could still be an option. They could look at like I believe it's Daxton Hill out of Michigan. Again, he's a matchup type player. You can put him everywhere. Kind of in that same mold of pretty much a Logan Ryan, where he can play, slot, corner, safety, any type of, player that you want, he can provide. Kyer Elam, I'm not too big on just because of his tackling ability. I think that's an area where he really struggles, and I'm not sure if maybe that can be coached up. As far as matchup man corner, I think he's really good. Press coverage, he can do some good things, but just the consistencies with the tackling, there's a lot of, misses there and stuff that I see. I don't know. It kind of scares me a little bit. You look at Andrew Booth, I wouldn't mind him. I think he's a very solid corner. Trent McDuffie would be an awesome pick. I think he's a perfect slot. You can put him anywhere and he can play, very good. But you look at the later round options, I think that's where they lean towards it for corner. You look at a Roger McCreary out of Auburn. They love Auburn corners already. So that could be, potential pick. Cam Taylor-Britt out of Nebraska, another good player.
How late are you talking?
This is probably like round 3, round 4. A sneak.
I think they can make it to day 3.
Right. A sneaky pick. Again, this guy's very short, so I'm not sure if he fits the profile of a Todd Bowles corner. But Marcus Jones out of Houston, I wouldn't mind at all because he's, first of all, excellent special teams player. He can return, and he has legit return ability. He's returned a lot of touchdowns. And then he can play slot corner for you and be, very effective. Again, only 5'8", so he's short, but he's got super athletic ability. It could be a fun player, but I don't think they'll go that way.
Okay, if you're going to talk about pigeonholing a position that they like a certain type of player,
it'd be corner. Be corner because they like big, long. You look at Jamel Dean. I mean, 6'2", long arms, big body. Carlton Davis, same thing. Sean Murphy Bunting, they're all over 6 feet tall. So, yeah, that would be position.
And that's that you can sell me on. You can't sell me on defensive end edge rusher on this team. You just can't do it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. So, again, guys, think for yourselves. We're just trying to feed you some of the things that we're seeing going on in the Bucs, what they're telling you, what we're kind of seeing through between the lines. But I mean, what do you guys think? What do you think is the blatant need? What was the problem last year that we couldn't win the game against the Rams? And how are we going to get better and improve on that next year? To eventually, hopefully, 2023, we're holding up the championship, just smiling, have another boat parade, Tom Brady laughing, drunk, Ryan Griffin holding them up again. Like, where do you guys truly feel it is? Do you think it is a wide receiver first round? If it is, I don't know what the hell you've been watching.
Well, I think the Rams game last year, it was a combination of, offensive line was beat up. Ryan Jensen was playing on one leg, and then he didn't have Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah.
So again, injuries are going to happen, and it's unfortunate, but that takes place. And you're not always going to have depth at every position. I know that's what you try to accomplish, but it's just not possible with the salary cap and everything. you have to put resources everywhere, and sometimes it's not, at that certain position where you're hit with injuries. So, obviously only scoring 3 points in the first half, that doesn't help, but you came back, you made the ball, you made it a ball game. And at the end there, you needed pass rush, and they just couldn't figure it out. And they had to send extra guys, and they lived and died by the blitz, and they died.
Damn, that you couldn't have summed it up any better.
Yeah.
I mean, more on the draft. I think Devontae Wyatt, to sum it up, Devontae Wyatt is literally clearing away. If he makes it somehow to the Bucs, I think it's just an easy pick. I think
Yeah. Let's do a top 5. Like, if top 5 guys for 27, I'll go first. And obviously I think we'll agree with number 1. It'll be Devontae Wyatt first. Number 2, I would probably say Boye Mafe, just because of the versatility and edge rush that he could provide. Number 3, I would probably say Arnold Ebiketie. And then number 4, probably be like a Lewis Seen, just because he's a heck of a prospect. And then 5, I would probably go Zion Johnson, just because left guard, instant starter, dominant run blocker. And if they do want to run the football more, it makes a lot of sense.
I'm not even going to argue it. Yeah.
Again, that was right off the top of my head. I didn't really have a lot of time to think of it, but just from high level explanation, I think that's how they want to approach it. And sure, there could be some other guys that they love that could be there, but you could throw in a Travis Jones, but I just don't feel like they're high enough on him to take him at 27. And
Again, fits the mold.
He does fit the mold.
But I mean, we're looking for fast. Travis Johnson is not necessarily fast. He's more strong and big. He looks like Vita Vea Jr.
Yeah, he is.
So, do you want that? I don't know. But it is a real case scenario. I really did like his tape, but is that the running mate you want next to Vita Vea? I don't know. George Karlaftis, if he falls there, it could be a potential guy that can play inside, outside, faster against guards, stronger against tackles. It could be an option.
I feel like he's underrated. Like, he's not getting as much hype as he should. I know a lot of people look at his tape and it's like, oh, it's all power. It's not, not a great bend around the edge, but I feel like he's got a lot of ability where, he was the main focus on that team from an offensive standpoint. Like, people were trying to stop him. So he was facing a lot of triple, double teams and still having an impact, I feel.
And you look at what the Bengals did. I mean, these guys weren't true like beast edge rushers. They were like hustle, just motor guys.
Trey Hendrickson's a great comp. Yeah.
And Hubbard, the same thing. Like, guys that just keep going and going and going. They're going to beat you eventually.
Yeah.
That is pretty much his game in a nutshell. He's not a beast athletically like Aiden Hutchinson and Thibodeau, but still he brings it every damn snap. And
he's also, and I know for the age police out there, he's only 20 years old. So it fits that bill. And also he was late to the game. This guy is from Greece. He came over to the US late. He played a lot of different sports, but finally, went into football and, blossomed very late, just like Ebiketie and David Ajabo, guys like that, learned it late and are just still processing the game.
And then, I mean, the only other ones I would throw in there are any cornerback. I mean, I can honestly see that just someone's going to give the injury thing again behind. I mean, imagine if Carlton Davis didn't sign back.
Right.
You have Dean and SMB as your outside guys. SMB seems like he gets hurt every damn year. If he goes down, you would have just had Dean and who the hell knows. So I can see that as a need. I can honestly see that one a lot more than wide receiver. And it's, who is it? Is it like an Andrew Booth? Is it like, I know you don't think highly of him, but Elam, I think he's like a comparison to Jamel Dean, but even more quick.
Yeah, very good cover corner. I mean, I feel some of his toughness and tackling ability is lacking. And, again, I don't know if they'll see that as a big knock on him. If you can cover the guy, you can cover. And usually that's important.
Look what BA said with VH3.
Yeah, exactly.
I could go out for the tackle. I don't want you.
Right.
And that's something you saw on tape a lot with Dean and SMB coming out of college. They went after it in the run. So that's something they asked their corners to do a lot.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. I mean, looking at it that way, we mentioned Lewis Seen, who we're really high on. Daxton Hill, any safety that can kind of be interchangeable in the slot, I think would be huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we didn't name many offensive players. It was mainly 2 guards, and that was it.
Yeah, offensive players, that's really the main position I see is if a Zion Johnson or, a Kenyon Green is there and maybe, some of the edge rushers that we talked about are gone or off the board already and they're not, as high on those guys. And, maybe they do take a left guard. And again, it's an instant starter. And that's really the only position I see where they can truly upgrade and get a high level pick on the offensive side of the ball. I will say this, I think they are going to take a running back at some point. It seems like they're talking with every running back in this process. Doesn't mean they will, but it just hints that they do have interest in taking one.
And it also makes you think, okay, so Keyshawn Vaughn was drafted 3rd round. They're not thinking that highly of him, or is it just bringing more bodies in here?
Maybe the light's just not coming on for Keyshawn. I don't know.
No, I mean, I think when he actually had, again, playing time, he showed something.
Right.
But do you just try and get more youth in there? Like, I don't know if you'd go high if you're doing that. Fournette.
Yeah. Yeah. You just signed.
Vaughn.
Yeah. You have Fournette for 3 more years. You have Keyshawn, I think, for a couple more. So, yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, again, it's limited on offense. Again, the only 2 positions I see them drafting maybe high is offensive line, then tight end maybe on day 3. Just because it is another position that you don't have a lot there. So, but again, I think if we go over this show, you'll see that obviously we want defensive line. I think that's the biggest need on this team. And it makes a lot of sense because what do you have to do in this game to be successful? You have to be able to throw the football and you have to be able to stop the passer on the other side of the field. So those are your most important. And you look at premium positions, we always talk about it. Quarterback, receiver, which we already have. Left tackle, we have a damn good one. Offensive line is pretty much solid. And then pass rush and corner, and I think we have good enough pieces there, but we need to just continue to add, more to it.
I agree. I think we kind of try to sell you all on that.
Yeah.
I hope the Bucs are doing the same kind of concept and thinking. We were ecstatic when they drafted JTS. I was like, that was our guy. We picked him.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Like, does our guy fall into our lap again with Devontae Wyatt based on teams not valuing defensive tackle really high? Hopefully. And we'll see. Edge rusher, I would not be surprised if they drafted another one to go along with the pass rush. I mean, behind JTS and Shaq, there isn't really much with JPP now that really there. Do you try and find a veteran or do you try and draft youth? Like, again, how do they have this board mounted up? No one knows. It's just you have a whole bunch of media and people who think they know. No one really knows. So the only guy that knows is Jason Light and his staff. We're just showing you areas where they need and guys that we like. And we've gotten it right a couple times. I'm very happy about that, but I hope they keep getting it right and keep solidifying this defense so they can be more consistent with that pass rush.
Right. And yeah, and that's what they need to do going into this draft. And I think Jason Light and his staff are going to, do a good job and be aggressive, find the players that they want. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, it's only 2 weeks out. I can't believe we're saying that, but it's a fast process, especially when you get into April. The weeks just keep churning out and you get closer. And by the time you know it, it's a draft show here on Real Bucs Talk, and we're talking every pick, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So we're excited about that.
Love it.
Yeah, and the Jacksonville Jaguars select Aiden Hutchinson, and
should be right done.
We're off and running. Yeah, that's another thing that's just crazy. The Trayvon Walker versus Kayvon Thibodeau and all that stuff. I mean, go watch the tape. That's really what it, and these scouts have done it. People are trying to position players. They're trying to get players to fall. And I know you don't think that's a thing, but it is a thing. People they put things out there to agents or whatever to get these guys to fall. And why not? I'm pretty sure it happened with Laramie Tutzel, a few years back. I mean, someone wanted him to fall, and obviously it happened. So, yeah, I mean, happens all the time.
Poor guy.
Yep.
Before we go, touch on right here. How about the Gators running back, Pierce? I'm assuming he means Pierce.
Yeah, Damian Pierce, again, another solid back. Could be drafted higher, could go in round 2. Very, back that can do it all. Tough, physical, fast, catch the football. So, yeah, he could be in anywhere from rounds 2 to round 4. I could see him going, but definitely a very solid prospect.
Yeah, based on his size and just all-around back, I mean, he can catch the ball. He's a bigger dude. He can get short yardage. He can probably do a little bit of everything. He just doesn't have blazing speed. He ran like a 4.59. I'm looking. 5'10", 215. That's kind of a bigger dude for running back. It's not just it's stocky. He gets through some holes, and he knows how to lay the wood up as a running back too. So I can see that just based on teams liking that. If you fell to day 3, I think it'd be a huge option for the Bucs. I just wouldn't overdraft running back. That's one area we never say overdraft. I know they're looking at every running back. I don't care if Reese Hall's available. I don't care if Isaiah Spiller's available. Do not take a running back first round.
Yeah, no,
So,
definitely not. Yeah. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this show. Again, we're just trying to, yeah, there you go. That's the guy right there, Borgie in the 7th. I like it. He'd be a perfect fit to what they want to do. So, and Tom Brady special, throw it to the third down back. I like it. Anyways, again, we're live here, Real Bucs Talk on YouTube, Bucs Report. Be sure to give us a like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Comment, if there's certain players you want us to look at, or if you disagree with everything we said, that's okay too. We could be completely wrong. It is okay. We're just giving you our thoughts and opinions, how we see this team, and you don't have to agree. That's the beauty of it. You can, feel free to give your opinion out. We love to talk with you guys and hear from you. But other than that, I don't think I have anything else. Just stay tuned. We got a lot of good content coming up, and the draft is right around the corner. So with that said, everyone have a great night. Go Bucs, and thank you all.
Go Bucs.